This is really the no bullshit guy that I wish I had when I was just starting to meet and attract women in the streets. And if you're still watching right now, it means you're part of the top 1% because most people will not continue to watch this training because it's not a cool looking video, it's a presentation. So thank you for that. I really want to appreciate you for that. My promise to you is going to be very simple. I'm going to walk you through every step that you need to take to approach, have a conversation, and then eventually take her number so that you can have a solid date with your ideal woman. I'm going to walk through like all the stages, all the steps. Don't worry, I'm going to cover absolutely everything so that you really get as much value as possible, right? Why you should listen to me? Well, I used to be the kind of kid that was being bullied in high school and middle school. And I was extremely shy, super introvert. The first time I had a female friend, not even romantic, the first time I had a female friend was around 17, 18 years old. And I lost my virginity when I was 19 years old. And to be quite honest with you, it was really, really hard for me to communicate with the other sex. Because for so many reasons that I won't go into detail in this training. But basically, when I was 20, 21 years old, I got really, really tired of being in this situation. And that's when I started to like, okay, I need to take action. I need to overcome my fears. I need to remove my limiting beliefs. I need to become more attractive. I need to become more confident. I need to become more masculine. All of this I have worked on. And 7 years later, 8 years later, from this picture to this other picture, now I'm in a relationship, in a very serious relationship with my ideal woman. And we've been together for more than a year. And I am extremely grateful to be in such a position. And I just want to give back to you guys as much as possible so that you can be also in this position of enjoying your life with the woman on your side. If you're someone that is interested in just getting laid, this is probably not a good training for you. So you just don't want to listen to that. You can skip the video. There are 5 steps to meet and attract your ideal woman in the streets. Yeah. And I will cover each of them. And you will see I'm going to go into the details. What stops you from meeting and attracting your ideal woman, like almost like, you know, this weight that you carry, this heaviness, these blockages that you carry, they are coming from multiple angles. On one side, you have the conditioning that you received from the society and from your parents' education. This is probably stopping you to meet and attract women in the streets. For example, for me, I come from France, and in France, feminism is pretty big. I think as influential as in US, right? And in France, if you decide to meet women in the streets, it's something that is very badly seen, you know. A lot of women are against it because they think it's catcalling, right? So there's a huge barrier for a lot of French people because of that, because the society has this vision of meeting women in the streets as something really bad, right? So you have to overcome that in some ways. Also, what can stop you from meeting and attracting your ideal woman in the streets is past rejection, sorry. When you were a young kid at school, you probably had some experiences where you were trying to connect with a woman, but you got rejected. Maybe you got rejected in front of other people, right? And this becomes a trauma. And now you have this underlying fear that, Jesus, if I meet a woman in the street, I'm going to be judged. I'm going to get rejected. And that's basically a subconscious block that you have that is manifesting because of your past. You can also have your own limiting beliefs, right? You might think, oh, women don't want to be approached. My city is too small, right? I don't have a good look. This could be limiting beliefs that are basically stopping you, right? It's not because you have a bad look that you cannot like attract or like even meet a woman in the street. You can, you know, your bad look is not stopping you. You are stopping yourself, right? Also, another aspect that can clearly stop you, and this is very true for a lot of men, you might not feel safe to get out of your comfort zone. And this is usually connected to your attachment style. So you basically have an insecure attachment style. And in the past, in your childhood, you were not really encouraged to get out of your comfort zone, to explore, to take risks. And basically now for you, of course, meeting and attracting women in the streets is a big risk. It's outside of your comfort zone and it's not safe. And because it's not safe, you haven't learned in the past to create this safety, to allow yourself to be adventurous, to take risks, right? And basically you sabotage yourself, right? You can also have a victim mentality, right? You start blaming your look, you start blaming height, you start blaming your status, you start blaming women. You blame everyone except yourself, right? You're a victim and you don't want to do the work, of course, because anyway, who cares, right? Your look is shit, your height is too small, you have low status, so let's just stay in the mom's basement, right? Of course, this is going to stop you. If you're someone that watched too many YouTube videos about meeting women, this is also stopping you. And I know it sounds counterintuitive because I'm making a video about this, right? But if you watch too many of them, if you watch too much theory, it's going to stop you. You're going to overthink. You're going to be too much in your head. And obviously, you're not going to take actions. You're not going to meet and attract the woman that you really like. And this was actually my case. 8 years ago, before I was going to start taking action, like I was watching YouTube videos about meeting women literally every day. Like I was watching these infields, I was watching the theory, and I knew all of it, yet nothing was happening. I was not taking action. I was not doing anything. And I had all these videos in my mind and I was like, Jesus, maybe I could do it, but I was not allowing myself to do it. So this is stopping you. Don't watch too many YouTube videos. You can watch this YouTube video and then take action. I'm going to give you all the knowledge here so that you can really be clear in what to do when you're outside during the day and when you're about to meet a really cool woman. And ultimately, of course, you're the one stopping yourself, like I said. You are the one stopping yourself. That's really the only blockage, right? So if you're dealing with this kind of blockages, there is a shift that needs to happen. And this was my case. I got so tired of being stuck in a position where I was in deep scarcity, right? I was only relying to meet women through my social circle, right? And I got so tired of this to the point that I was sick of it. And I was like, you know what? Fuck it. I have nothing to lose. I'm going to try to meet women in the streets. This was the shift. And I really believe that if you don't go through this pain, it's going to be really hard for you to take this leap of faith, right? Of like, okay, I'm going to face my fears. I'm going to meet and attract my ideal woman in the street, right? So there's really this like big shift that needs to happen. And before I get into the 5 steps, I know that some of you are not going to like what I'm going to say here, but yeah, like if you don't work on your look, meaning you improve your style, you trim your beard, you have a clean cut, like a haircut, you smell good, you take a shower, like all of this. If you don't take care of your look, what the fuck are you doing, bro? Wake up, take care of that first. Second of all, if you never have been social, meaning you never had friends, you always stayed in your mom's basement, you never tried to, socialize, this guide is not for you also because you're too much of a hard case right now. And I don't want to hate on you or be a bad influence right now, but seriously, wake the fuck up. You can make friends, and this can actually in some ways help you make friends, but you need to have a little bit of experience of being social, of course. And finally, I am assuming that you have a job that brings money to provide for your life, right? These are fundamentals, right? If you don't have I'm not saying that you should have the best look, right? But at least take care of your look. Look the best way you can. If you don't have a few friends, if you don't have a job, what are you doing, bro? Take care of that first of all. Yeah? Step 1. This is before even meeting your ideal woman. Yeah? Before meeting your ideal woman, you need to be completely relaxed. And you need to manage your thoughts and emotions. Because what stops you the most before meeting women in the streets is your anxiety. It's your thoughts, right? Your thoughts are running in your head. You overthink. You start having these limiting beliefs like, oh, what if people see me getting rejected? What if people judge me? What if she doesn't like me? She's outside of my league. All of these limiting beliefs, all of these thoughts are popping in your head, and this is gonna just sabotage the whole thing. Even if you meet a woman from this energy, you're gonna get rejected instantly because the energy that you carry is so heavy. There's so much tension, right? You're not relaxed, you're not at ease with yourself, you're not embodying the confidence. So, of course, it's going to sabotage the whole thing right off the bat, right? So, the first focus you want to have is your vibe. You need to really work on your vibe, right? And again, you took care of your look, you took care of your finances, you're a little bit social. But now you want to work on your vibe. So you want to focus on relaxation and you want to focus on managing your thoughts and emotions. So the best way to focus on like relaxation and managing your thoughts and emotions is to have an object of focus, right? So for example, when I was meeting women 7 years ago, when I was just starting to meet women 7 years ago, the one thing I was doing when I was walking in the streets or maybe in the mall is I was focusing on my breath. So basically the whole time as I was walking and looking for a woman that I really like, I was focusing on the inhalation and the exhalation, right? And I was just focusing on that. And what happened is I started to have less and less thoughts. I started to have more control over my emotions. I started to become more grounded, more relaxed. And interestingly enough, I was becoming more charismatic and women will notice me more, right? And this is crazy because my look was good back then. You know, I had a good work. I was making money. I had some friends. But this little shift in my vibe, because I was just much more relaxed, changed absolutely everything. I started to really notice women looking at me. And I was like, what? What is actually happening right now? This is crazy. And it gave me like a shot of validation of course, like I felt really good because I was like, damn, this never happened. You know, this never happened. How can this be even possible? But just because I allowed myself to relax my entire nervous system, my vibe changed. So there are many, many ways to learn to be relaxed. This is the most simple and basic way, yes, yet it still works really well, right? And there are many ways you can learn to relax and to manage your thoughts and emotions. I teach a lot of them in my mentoring. It's not really the point of this training to give you all of it, because you also have to find your own way to relax yourself, right? Maybe focusing on your breath, inhaling and exhaling is not the right way. Maybe you have to focus on your feet. Maybe you feel the way you walk. Maybe that can ground you. I don't know what is the best way for you, right? If we would be mentoring together, probably I would know better, of course, because we would be talking personally. But because it's a video right now, I don't know, and you have to find your own way, yeah? Also, what could be potentially an issue is you don't feel safe getting out of your comfort zone. And this requires you to go through an attachment repairing process, right? You need to go from insecure attachment to secure attachment because you want to build this safety of like, it's okay, it's possible to get out of my comfort zone and not get killed or not get attacked. Like it's not a threat if I get out of my comfort zone, right? You need to come from this place. So for this, you need to go through an attachment repairing process. And again, this is not something that I can teach in one video. This is a bit more deep. So I will have to skip this. But really, what you want to understand about step one is that you need to become super comfortable with looking weird and getting rejected by women, right? And this is a hard pill to swallow, right? Because it's like, fuck, it is weird to do that in a way. And I don't like getting rejected by women. But when you become comfortable with this, I'm not saying that you should enjoy it. I'm saying you become comfortable with it, right? You have developed this emotional resilience to the point that if you get rejected by a woman, you don't take it personally. If you get to that place, then you're good to go, man. You're going to enjoy much more the process of meeting and attracting women. So now that you worked on your vibe, step 2 is the approach, right? Of course, now that you're relaxed, now that you're grounded, now that you're a little bit more confident, a little bit more masculine, a little bit more centered, it's time to do the approach. Now, it doesn't mean that you should be always relaxed when you're about to meet a woman, right? You can be anxious and still meet a woman, but you need to embrace the fact that you're anxious, right? That's the whole essence of acceptance, self-love, and all of this stuff, right? Now, when it comes down to the approach, the less time you take to meet her, the better, right? So I wrote the 3-second rule because it's a good rule to have. Like you count 1, 2, 3, and then you go meet her. The best, even better, is you don't even count, you go right away. As soon as you see a woman that you really, really like, you go talk to her. No bullshit. Stop bullshitting yourself. You have so many excuses constantly. Oh, what if this? Well, she's with her friends. Oh, there is a guy with her. I'm not sure if that's the boyfriend. Like, bro, you don't know? Go find out. Go find out. Worst case is you get rejected. That's it. You'll be still alive. I never died from getting rejected. I'm all good, you know? As you're about to meet her, focus on your breath when you walk towards her. You can even focus on your feet, right? Like feel your each step. And to be quite honest with you, there is no right or wrong approaches because it will depend on so many different factors, right? So some people say like you should walk with her. Some people say you should stop her like properly, like a masculine dominant man. Some people say like you have to approach her in a very specific angle. There's so many different teaching here. To be honest, like from my experience of traveling the world, I lived in 3 different continents. I lived in South America, I lived in Europe, I lived in Asia. It's very clear that it doesn't matter. You don't have like one way to meet women. You have multiple ways, you have multiple contexts, and it's your job as an artist almost like, you know, it's going to be funny to say that, but as a pickup artist, you have to honor the art of it too, which means that you cannot be robotic about it. You cannot be like, oh, this is the only way to go about it, and that's it. Because depending on the culture, the woman you're meeting, depending on her education, depending on the experiences that she has, depending on her beliefs of the word, she will want to be approached in a very specific way, and you don't know, right? So you have to go with your gut, with your intuition, and you develop this gut feeling, this intuition with experience. So this means that if you're a complete beginner right now, you're probably going to get rejected a little bit at the beginning. That's part of it. You know, when I started to this journey of meeting and attracting women in the streets, I got rejected 90% of the time at the beginning. It was hardcore. Like my ego took a hit, but I was focusing on the 10% because I was still getting 10% of good interactions. Right? But at the beginning, you get blown out a lot, right? Because you don't have any experience, of course. So it hurts. Just like going to the gym, right? When you go to the gym the first time, it fucking hurts after the session. You're dead, you know? So it's the same thing here. Like, you're not used to this, so don't expect to be a master at this right away. You have to learn, you have to take the hits, right? Personally, I really love the like front stopping, meaning like you walk towards her and then you stop her like when you're just in front of her, right? So it means like you have to direct your body towards her. The reason why I love this is because it has taught me to be approaching with conviction, to be approaching with a masculine frame, to be approaching with confidence, right? Now, it doesn't mean that I always did this in my life. I was also approaching in a more indirect way. But this is an amazing way to start because it's going to teach you this very powerful vibe that you can embody, right? Now, one thing that you need to always remember, right? The more natural the approach is, the more likely she will want to speak with you, right? And again, this comes with time and experience. You need to develop this muscle of meeting and attracting women in the streets. It's a muscle. You need to work it. And with time, you will have this ease about it, right? Step 3. Now that you took care of your vibe, you met her, now you need to talk to her, right? So now the big debate is, should you be direct? Should you be indirect? And again, I know I'm going to be annoying with this. It's not black and white. It depends where you live. It depends on the woman that you meet. It depends on the education that she had. It depends on her beliefs. It depends on her experiences that she had in the past with other guys. It depends on so many other things. It also depends on the way you go about it, right? How are you direct? How are you indirect when you approach a woman? It depends on so many things. So again, don't get caught in the black and white thinking. Think more with nuance about this, right? There is no right or wrong opener, right? There is just an opener that feels very right for the situation, right? And if you have absolutely nothing to say, you can just come up to her and say, hey, hi, I wanted to say hi because I wanted to meet you. And that's it, right? That's it. You can have like the most basic opener if you really have nothing to say, but usually because of the situation, you always have something to say. Maybe it's something about her, maybe it's something about her style, maybe it's something about the situation. You have no idea. And it's good to have no idea because it makes it more natural, right? When you don't know what to say and you go up to her, it makes it so much more natural because you will really go moment by moment. You can really embrace the present moment and say what comes out in your truth, right? You really connect it to your truth and you let your truth be expressed outward, right? Now, a few things to keep in mind. Always have a downward tonality. So I'm sure you've heard that, so I don't want to explain too much, but basically your tonality should be going down. Yeah. You want to have deep and relaxed eye contact. So meaning you don't look at her with a tense eye contact like this. You look at her and you're relaxed. Yeah. And I know that I keep on repeating like relaxation, relaxation, relaxation. It's because it's a key component to attract a woman. It's almost like a magnet. The more relaxed you are in front of her, the more she will want you in some ways. And you don't have to believe me. Go ahead and experience it. Allow yourself to relax when you're in front of your ideal woman and see what happens. You will be very surprised. The important thing about the opener is that she needs to know why you're talking to her, right? So even if you're indirect, your body language, your tonality, your eye contact is communicating to her that you're here to be romantic with her. I remember a few years ago, like 2, 3 years ago, I was never direct. I would never say a woman, you're beautiful. I would always find a way to be indirect. But because my vibe was so direct, because my sub-communication was so direct, because my eye contact was so like strong yet relaxed, she knew why I was talking to her. There was no ambiguity. It was very clear that I wanted to date her, and I didn't even have to tell her that she's beautiful. The reason why I was doing this is because I was meeting very specific kind of women that are really attractive and that received a lot of compliments in the past. And I didn't want it to be another guy that said, hey, you have very beautiful eyes, or you look so beautiful today, or you have such a great style, because she heard it so many times, right? So I wanted to be a little bit more unique in my approach, and that's why I was more indirect, but my sub communication was extremely direct, right? What you want to keep in mind also is to really have a body language that is completely relaxed, right? And a good mindset is you don't need her to stop talking to you. Life is good. Meaning that if she walks away, life is good, my brother. You don't need her to like you. Life is good. This is the essence of unplugging from her validation, right? You don't need her to talk to you. You don't need it. And if you need it, she will feel it. And she will get turned off. So you don't need her to stop for you and talk to you. Life is good. You're content within yourself. And this is, maybe hard to get. It's a kind of vibe that you need to work on. This will require a bit of internal work. This is what I teach in my mentoring, really, because it's really the essence of real confidence of masculinity. And it takes a bit of work, of course, but that's really the essence. Life is good without her. Step 4, of course, the conversation. The trap here is to learn routines, is to run pickup lines, and this will feel robotic for her. And you will come across as needy since your vibe doesn't lie. You can lie with your language, with the words that you use. You can pretend to be this cool guy, this alpha guy, but your vibe will not lie. Your energy will not lie. And women have this sense of intuition and they will feel it. Women will feel it. And when they will see this incongruency, they will get instantly turned off, right? And that's why you get rejected a lot. Like the guys that are stuck in this stage of like, you can approach, you can have a good opener, you start the conversation, but then women lose attraction, they lose interest. It's usually because your vibe is not connected with your words, right? Your vibe is off and she can sense it. And that's why she like flakes. That's why she doesn't want to give you her number. That's why nothing is really happening in your dating life. Your vibe is off, you know. You don't feel confident within yourself. You haven't fully relaxed your nervous system. You need her validation. You need her to like you. Because if she doesn't like you, you feel like shit. And basically, this turns her off completely. So what you want to focus on is very simple. You want to turn on your curiosity. You want to be super curious about her. You want to go for what you want no matter what. You want to be unapologetic about what you want. You want to express yourself freely, right? You want to let go of all the chains that you have put upon yourself. You let go of these chains and you unleash your full expression, right? I'm not going to tell you what you should talk about because you can talk if you feel really comfortable. You can talk for 10, 15, 1 hour, 2 hours. Like you can talk endlessly when you feel relaxed, when you feel confident, when you feel completely at ease with yourself. You just need to get to that stage of feeling confident, of feeling at ease with yourself, of feeling relaxed, and then it will naturally come out of you, right? Now, let me give you a bit of a guideline, okay? I'm going to give you a little bit of a guideline. The first thing that you want to do when you have a conversation with a woman is to make sure about her logistic. So one of the first things that I was doing when I was meeting women back then is I was literally asking her like, what are you doing right now? What are you doing right now? Because I want to know what's up with her. You know, I want to know what time, like if she has time, if she doesn't have time. That's a super important question. And then from this, I was usually improvising, you know. But also you want to improvise from a place of curiosity, right? You want to be curious about her. And naturally, if you're curious about her, if you relax, if you unplug from her validation, she will naturally want to be curious about you because she wants to mirror what you bring to the table. So if you coming from this authentic place of curiosity, of wanting to meet her, of wanting to connect with her without needing her validation, and if she still talk to you, right? Probably she will be curious about you. Now, if she's not curious, that means she's not interested, and that's okay. That's okay. You can let her go. It means that it's not meant to be. You're not meant to be with each other, and that's okay. If you're not needing her validation, if you're totally relaxed, if you embody real confidence, you don't have to force her to be interested in you, you know, because this will lead you to have a date that will be forced. And then maybe you will have sex, but there will be no real connection. There will be no real chemistry. When you completely at ease with yourself, when you unplug from her validation, when you feel deeply confident and she naturally wants to get to know you, that's how the connection gets created naturally. You don't want to force it. So allow women to reject you because it's a good thing. You're making the selection like this. You don't want to be with a woman with whom you don't connect with deeply. You want to be with a woman with whom you connect super deep, right? So it means that you are okay with pushing away certain women. You are okay with that, right? Now, a few tips to make it more man to woman, because this can be a big struggle for some men to make the conversation man to woman, right? If you end up being too friendly, yeah, she might give you her number, but you'll be in the friend zone probably. So when you speak to a woman, try to be as close as possible to her, right? Without creeping her out. So you get as close as possible. If she moves away, you don't move towards her, okay? You let her create her own space, but try to create that proximity because you will see that proximity will create polarity. Another thing, focus on your genitals. Focus on your sexual organs because this will allow you to feel your sexual energy. And if you can feel your sexual energy as you talk to her, the way you express yourself will be different. The way you will look at her will be different. The way you will feel around her will be different. And there is a law called the law of state transference. This is from RSD. And this law basically says that whatever you feel, she will feel. So if you feel anxious, she will feel anxious. If you bring anxiety to the table, she will feel that. If you bring arousal to the table, she might feel it too. She might feel it too. And this is the very interesting thing. So this is a crazy technique, we can call it a technique, to just focus on your genitals, focus on your sexual energy, let it spread out all over your body. You can even circulate it as you talk to her and as she's talking to you, and you will see that this will make a big difference. And also, and this is a very difficult one for a lot of guys, don't be scared to leave silences during the conversation, right? If you have nothing to say, it's okay to not talk. And you just look at her. And this will force her to invest. This will force her to ask questions about you. So this is one of the things that I was doing a lot back then. We would have a bit of a conversation for 1-2 minutes, and then I would just stop talking, right? And I wanted to see, like, is she going to invest now? Is she going to ask me questions? Is she going to talk to me? Is she going to dance with me? If she was not dancing with me, if she was not, like, making this conversation happen, I knew that she was not into it. And that's okay, that's okay. I can walk away from that. And also I had to, like, notice, like, am I relaxed? Am I confident? Am I being masculine right now? Right? But if I was all of this and she was still not interested, I was like, okay, it's not meant to be. Let's go away from this. I don't have to waste my time. Right? But this is a good way to really make this conversation more man to woman. Silences, focusing on your genitals, and the proximity. That's it. This changes the dynamic, right? And as you can see, I'm not telling you what you should say because you know already what you should say. You're just blocked by your own self, right? If you unblock yourself, it's a whole different story. And lastly, this is step 5 and it's pretty self-explanatory. Pull the trigger. Get her number or go for a date with her instantly, right? And then take her number, right? You always want to take her number. You're the man. You're the one leading the dynamic right off the bat, right? And if you follow these 5 steps, she should be interested in wanting to go on a date with you. Because if you had a solid interaction, she will want to go on a date with you. That's why this whole texting game thing, for me, I never really had to learn this because if I would get a number, usually the interaction was really solid. And solid doesn't mean that it was a long interaction. You can have a 2-minute interaction, but because your vibe was so on point, you had such an impact on her that she keeps on thinking about you after the interaction. And then, of course, she wants to see you because she's so curious about you. She met this cool guy. She doesn't know him and she wants to know him, right? So these are really the 5 steps. This is what worked for me. So this is my truth. I'm not saying that it's going to work for you. Maybe it will not. And then you have to find another teacher for this. But this has worked for me tremendously. This is the natural approach to meet women. And it makes it so much more authentic. It makes it so much more fulfilling. You don't have to fake anything. You do the real work and you end up attracting your ideal woman, right? If you're serious about doing this work, like to meet and attract your ideal woman, I actually have created a free guided meditation that can help you overcome your approach anxiety and meet your ideal woman. You go check that website and you have it for free. And this will help you tremendously to overcome this anxiety that you might feel at the beginning and create real confidence when you meet her. So, thank you for watching, my brother. I hope you enjoyed, and I see you when I see you.